Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And tonight, Evie Muck's problem has occurred, but it does not matter. You know why? Because we still come back. Wealth, ladies and gentlemen, if you can get it, it won't be easy, but let's go. And welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday Night Live Stream. Stop Struggling Now gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here. Please share the videos because you already know we're a little bit late this evening, but we've been having a problem with the EV Mux live streaming software, and we'll see if it continues. But it looks like it's stable for right now. So thank you again. Make sure you share the videos. Make sure you let people know what we're talking about here because some of you may have had to work extra hours, aren't able to get the news these days, don't know that you can't leave the country in some parts of the United States. That's right. I'm not talking about North Korea. I'm not talking about some Asian country. I'm not talking about China. I'm not talking about some third world country that restricts its citizens from leaving. I'm talking about the good old United States of America. That's right. Trying to go over to Canada, can't go. Check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Did somebody talk about this? Yes, you guys knew well ahead of schedule. That's why we always talked about building wealth inside of America and outside of America. You know what's going down next. So it's wealth or bust. But in order to get wealthy, you have to have the traditional things. You must be thinking like an entrepreneur, acting like an entrepreneur, thinking about business, actually doing business. And I don't talk about these little things that you say, okay, it's my side hustle. No, I'm talking about business that's under an LLC or a corporation. That's what I'm referring to. Charged and build and make money under the corporation. That's exactly what I'm talking about here. That's what you need to do to build wealth. Entrepreneur, that's what you need to be to build wealth. You have to be an investor as well, make investments to build wealth. So I want to welcome you again here to the Wealthy Wednesday Night live stream where we discuss it all. And by the way, we're here for the help. We're here for the information. I'm here to help. There's going to be other people that's going to be in the chat room that can help. And oh, speaking of help, we have to show some love for our own, right? Coffee, tea, whether it's wintertime, springtime, summer, autumn, fall, it does not matter. You go to beachfrontjava.com. There's so many different varieties of coffee and tea that you can use. And by the way, did you guys know coffee and tea, some coffee is good for your body, good for your health? That's number one right now because if you get sick, things can turn around in a heartbeat because the cost of insurance and insurance won't cover a lot of things, you're going to be at risk. So go to beachfrontjava.com. Make sure you use that promo code SSN Lifestyle. Why? Because you receive a discount for life after your first order. But you need to use the promo code SSN Lifestyle, all caps, all one word, and show some love for our own Professor Auntie Val and family. That's what we're trying to do out here. Whole bean, fine ground, drip ground, and Keurig. It's all there. And the premium beans, fresh. Half-pound bag up to 5-pound bags. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. It's business as usual. And expenses need to be turned down. How are you going to build wealth? Don't forget about the stock market. Speaking of the stock market, hold on a second because it is Wednesday on Wealthy Wednesday night live stream now. You know where we're going? We're going to the Yield Max ETFs. Their dividends that's going to be distributed on Friday come out. Oh, and it's some pretty good dividend distributions once again. Hold on, I forgot about something. We're talking about June 6th. 2025 Yield Max. Hold on a second. I have to pull this up. ETF dividends. Let's see if they show. Oh, hold on a second. Maybe June 6th might be 20. I didn't put in 2025, I don't think. But nonetheless, we'll get to it in a second. So if you want weekly dividend payouts, otherwise known as passive income, okay, you have your shots coming right now. And I'm actually going to put it on screen. So we'll just show everybody, share the screen so you can actually see it. So therefore, there's no excuse for anybody who's watching this, letting people know that 10, 20, 30, 40 bucks, that stuff you're wasting your money getting a combo meal at McDonald's is $15. If somebody told you every $15 could actually be $1 per month coming in your pocket, would that change the way people think? Every time you spend 30 bucks and you could actually be making $2 in your pocket every month, would that change your mind? Because there's a lot of people out here paying $3,000, $2,500, $2,000 for rent, and it goes outside you don't get anything in return. People would also say you're paying that same amount of money to live in a house that you own. And the only reason people get their brains tweaked is because they feel that they're getting a higher value. Because home prices go up. Well, I'm just going to ask people very simply because liabilities is a problem here. If I buy a house for $450,000, I have to put down $45,000. Let's say that's 10%. I owe $405,000. So I gave up $45,000 that I earned nothing from, and I have a $405,000 note that I now have to pay at 6% rates, around $2,400 per month, plus insurance, plus taxes. So let's just call it $3,500 a month. So what I want to ask you is, does your house increase in value $3,500 every payment? No. And before I get into that, why don't I just do a simple number? 30 years is 360. So if I did 3,500 times 360 months, that's $1,260,000, ladies and gentlemen. That's how much you paid. So 30 years from now, or 25, it does not matter, your house that you purchased for 450,000, it better be worth 1.2 just for you to break even. And actually, you're not going to break even. This is how you build wealth, ladies and gentlemen. You're doing it the wrong way. You're not going to break even because you had to replace your AC unit. You had to have some repairs. You had to mow your lawn. You had to do all these expenses. There was breakdowns all over your house in the last 30 years. You had to get a new dishwasher. You had to get a new fridge. Let's get real. The insurance prices have went up. Come on. We're talking wealth. Understand your liabilities and reduce the liabilities, ladies and gentlemen. That is the key. Reducing liabilities. That's what you need to do. And here we're going to be sitting here looking at Yield Max ETFs, giving out money that you could be getting every week, every month, and not 0.1%. How about 1% a month? Would you like that? I'm thinking the answer is going to be yes. EV Place says yes. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. And yes, he's all over the Yield Max ETFs that you can see on the screen. His tagline this evening: Happy Wednesday, everyone. Button has been smashed. He gave it a one piece and it was free. Again, welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. He's actually partaking in the wealth strategy. I greatly appreciate it. He's in the house and he has one hell of a story to tell, because I'll just tell it straight up. Because he said the last 2 months he joined about 2 to 3 months ago, came to found the SSN Nation. The man has been checking his returns. And I believe he said in 2 months, he's loving the 18%, ladies and gentlemen. 2 months. It's not over. It's not like 2 months is a year. It's definitely not. 18%. Most people would take 18% for the year and call it happy time. But potentially, if this plays out over the course of the next 6 months, you can go 6 times 18, ladies and gentlemen. I know. It says 100% plus. But the man is taking high risk, high rewards, literally. He said, I'm going to invest in some of these UMAX ETFs that are giving out these great returns while the stock market is bouncing all over the place. But again, if you still haven't downloaded Robinhood, Webull, Moo, and you still haven't gotten a brokerage account, please sign up with the brokerage account. Even if you don't sign up with the ones that I have down below in the description box, at least get a brokerage account. I don't care if it's Fidelity. I don't care if it's Schwab. I don't care if it's JP Morgan. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's E-Trade. I don't care who it is. You need to invest in the stock market. 93% of it is owned by the top 10% of the wealthiest. And you wonder why they make sure that it's rigged so it can go up. You need to be in on this. And when YieldMax ETF comes along, Defiance Group comes along, and there's others now that do option income trading, and they disperse some of the funds to the people that invest in their stock, like YieldMax, you too can enjoy $1.50 per share for stocks that only cost $10, $15, $20 every month. So remember when I was talking at the intro, talking about that combo meal at McDonald's costing freaking $15 now? Probably even more than that with tax. So remember, there are some stocks on this list that you see on the screen that are $10. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. $10 or less. But let me just start something out real quick here. Look at this right here. Here's MSTY. $20 shares giving you $1.47 this month. A lot of people would be happy. They would say, oh my God, I got 7% for the year. My 401k gave me 7.5% I earned. This is 1 month, ladies and gentlemen. 1 month. So you see, I'm not far off from that analogy I'm using with freaking bad food that you should not be eating that causes health problems. By the way, where can I find a nugget at? Where can I find that chicken nugget? I'm just asking for my friends. Okay, let's go into $1.57 for SMCY, another 22 or 23-ish dollar stock right now. Again, I think we're talking about around 7% again for the month. So think about this here. You want to know something that's even really crazy? Here's something over here called AIYY. It's AI option income strategy, right? Artificial intelligence. This is 32 cents. Their stock price right now is around $4.30 or something. Again, this looks like 7% a month. It could possibly be. We don't know the future, but we know the stock market's going to keep going up, down, which is perfect for generating option income, fees, premiums, money to be made. You want to know something else? If you can do 7% every month and then hold on, you reinvest these dividends and get more shares, I think most people would just love to track at 7%. Just give me the same 7% every month. That's 84%, which is unheard of, high risk, high rewards. But you want to build wealth quickly, or do you want to wait? 7%. Okay, let's go to 72% rule, shall we? Here we go. EV place. Here he is. He's saying it. Yep. 1.57, 1.4. Yes, Yo Mac Wallet was 18% last week, 19.7 now. I've started March 22nd. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this, 19.7. You know, here's the funniest part. The thing is, what you guys have to understand, it's more than what you can fathom. The reason is because just keep in mind, I don't know his full strategy, but I'll just say this. If he was reinvesting the 18%, that means this month he has more shares than what he had 2 months ago without doing anything. He didn't have to put any more money in. So now he's going to continue to make more dividend money without having to actually put more money in. And if he does put more money in, then that just means that lines him up for making even more. That's the beauty of building wealth. This is how you do it. But this opportunity has only come up in the last 2 years. This is not something that a person that's an ordinary citizen, OCs like us, could spend a few $1,000s and over the course of a year, turning it into whatever thousands of dollars you were able to put in, double it. That has been a rarity with taking hardly any risk. So, yeah, look at this. March 22nd, ladies and gentlemen. April 22nd, May 22nd, 2.5 months. This guy's clocking right now, getting ready to clock. Let's just round up to 20%. If you went to your economics professor and told him, hey, you know what? I made an investment at the end of March and it looks like I've done 20% this year. They would probably say, well, that's not possible. What stocks earn 20%? There's no way, not in 2 months. I think your calculation must be wrong. Why don't we talk about this? Because I want to see what you're calculating. Because obviously, do you mean 2%? You mean 2%, right? Or maybe you even mean 0.2%. But you can't mean 20. You can't mean 18. Because we still have another 10 months to go. That would be the conversation, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's too hard to believe, but you got to be in it to win it. See, there we go. $20. Oh my God. It's $20.08. Damn, that's almost back to my dollar cost average. This is great. This is on sale. That means SMCY. You know what? I'm going to do a calculation right now. Just so everybody can I don't even know if people can see this. I'm just going to go over here. Look at this. If this is true, this is incredible if this is true. Because 20.8, no, that's not what I need. What dividend are we going to receive? $1.58 roughly, but 1.58, I'll round up because it's 1.5795 is all you can see on the screen. But we'll go to 1.58, divide that by the stock price. Let's see what we get this month. 7.5, 7.6%. Can you believe this? And not only that, if the stock stays near the same value, That's what you want. You want to be able to get like 7%, 6%, 5% per month, and the stock price stay the same, because the more stocks you have, you're increasing the amount of stocks you have, and that in turn buys more shares next month without you having to reload yourself. But again, why wouldn't you? If you can earn 7.5% every month, or 6%, because it fluctuates, or 5%, what can you bitch about? Or 3%, what can you bitch about? Really? This is how you build wealth, ladies and gentlemen. This is how you do it. There's no secret. There's no catching fire. This is how, one of the ways you do it. Luckily, there's many ways that you can do well. Haven't done anything, only DCA. Exactly. You know what? Here's the funniest part. Like SMCY, there's no reason for me to add money to it. The reason why? Because if SMCY, if it's above I have this thing. If it's above dollar cost average number, that doesn't excite me, because I'm like, well, why should I do that? Because as long as my dollar cost average is down here, then my percentage is even more. So in other words, I'll do it another way. Let me do you guys another favor. So if your dollar cost average is, for instance, $19.50, and you have the same 1.58 divided by $19.50, that's 8%, 8.1%. Now you see why? That's one of the things. The only thing that changes is when they do the reinvestment of the dividends, you're going to pay a higher price. So your dollar cost average can creep up. This is why you always need to pay attention. No matter what you invest in, you have to look at opportunities when there's a slight crash, so you can buy at the lower price underneath your price. So that's one of the little things that you got to think about with this. This is opportunity galore right here. So some of us are going to get 8% this week. Just saying. All right. Now back to AIYY, which is here, that's giving out 32 cents. And again, we already ran the numbers. 4.8. Or did we run the numbers? Hold on a second. Let me check something real quick, because I think it's 4.8, right? So if we do 0.32 divided by 4.8, which is $4.80, 6.6, ladies and gentlemen. Who doesn't like 6%? First of all, who's going to cry about 1% a month? That's 12% a year. Most people are going to be happy if somebody said 12% a year. If somebody said 20% in 3 months, most people would be like, what drugs are you selling? Right? That's what they would say. They'd be like, what are you talking about? What illegal activity are you doing? Luckily, no illegal activity is needed in this case, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. 14% last month, according to Robinhood chart. Okay, I like it. Here we go. My average in SMCY is 18.5. So now I'm hunting for MSTY under 20.5. There you go. That's exactly right. It's near there, is what you were saying. That's unbelievable. All right. Make sure you share the video, everybody, because it's wealth tonight. It's wealth. Get it while you can. You are not guaranteed in the future to be able to do this. This could implode. What I don't mean implode. What I'm trying to say is it could mean, if the markets stabilize, that's not good for this type of investing, because then people will hang on. There would be no reason to trade options, right? Not that heavily. But when things are going up and down by dollars, that's all it takes, dollars, then there's option income money to be made. And that means there's trades and there's fees and there are premiums to pay. So therefore, Yomax ETF, Defiance Group, and others that do this option income trading, that is a viable product. And luckily, we have a madman that's going to make sure that he's going to make announcements. Like this Monday coming out is going to be, unfortunately, a ban on some countries being able to travel to the United States. You know, that's workers. Do you know that's business owners? Do you know that's doctors and lawyers? And we're a nation of immigrants. Their visas are not going to be good anymore. So when you start doing these type of things, that means there has to be a problem with the supply chain, with the situations in America that make money. So therefore, we're going to have this gyration in the markets. All I'm saying is it's bad, but if you're trying to build wealth, it's going to be good for us, bad for the country, but nonetheless, that's why you need to make your money. You got 1 year, 6 months, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not giving you anything past that, only that I will give you this. 1 year, 6 months you have, you're going to have a little room, but I don't want you to have room. I want you to put your deadline, mark your calendar, put on your clock. 1 year, 6 months, you need everything in order. You need your assets to grow rapidly over the next 1 year, 6 months. Some of you are just now getting to the party when it was 2 years and 5 months. I was saying this. I'm counting it down every month that goes by. 1 year, 6 months now, you need to have your credit in order at 778. You need to have your stock market in order, your real estate in order, and you need to figure out where other passive income is going to come in, and you're going to need business. And you're going to have something offshore. Meaning, who's ever watching this, I know we only have a few people that are watching this from outside the United States every month, but it holds true for you too. No matter what country you're in, you need to also think about offshore business, offshore real estate. Those are the rules, ladies and gentlemen. I made those rules 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I was telling people about this. Now it's turning out where the crazy guy wasn't so crazy after all. You knew things are going to happen regardless, it's going to happen. It's already in stone. You have a declining empire that owes $36 trillion that the poorest people have to somehow figure out how to pay back because they don't want to tax the corporations and the rich guys who have all the money. So if that's going to be the case, you already know we're going down. It's a third world country waiting to happen. In fact, today there was economists talking about America is nothing more than an emerging market at the moment. I was like, oh my God. About time somebody starts saying what the facts are. You don't have manufacturing. Okay, we have cars. Who can afford cars? Who gives a damn about cars? You don't have manufacturing for the basic needs. You don't have the electrical grid up and operational. You don't even have high speed transportation for your citizens. But you got taxes for them. You don't even have health care coverage for your citizens. You got to make your citizens fend for themselves. And now you're going to have the tornado situation. FEMA isn't coming. Nobody's coming to save you, ladies and gentlemen. So the only way you're going to be saved is you can't beat them. You got to join the rich guys. You have to join the wealthy club. You can't just sit idly by and go, oh, okay, I'll get my Social Security money and I'll hope that my pension money keeps coming in. Don't worry. They got a plan for your pension money too in their pocket. They have a plan. And what's going to happen if you have less people working? Because remember, it's a Ponzi scheme, right? If you retire, you have pension money. Where do they get that pension money from? That means the people that are working now have to put into the pension fund because nobody expected people to really live to be 85, 90 years old on a regular basis. But as people get a little more healthier, now all of a sudden people aren't dying at 72. They're not dying at 75. No, no, no. They have a lot more people living at 80. And by the way, you're saying, oh, we're going to give you the cost of living increase on your pension every year. We're going to give you cost of living on your Social Security every year. Well, then that extra money, that means you have to tax somebody, right? And when somebody says, I made $5 billion or my corporation made $25 billion and they don't have to pay taxes or are able to get around paying taxes, that means the burden is going to be on the emerging class, which does not get a livable wage for the most part. You can see where this is going. So you better start thinking about that $15 combo meal, that $15 Subway sandwich, that $8 cup of Java. And it's not from beachfront Java, but you're going over to Starbucks. Seriously? Every time you're giving out $8, you could be getting 80% a year on your money, 70 cents if you bought AIYY. Think about this. Every time somebody went to Starbucks 4 times this week and they spent that $5, $6, that could have been an AIYY stock, a Yomax ETF stock. And you could be getting 32 cents to 33 cents back in your pocket. And not only back in your pocket this month, but it gets to keep coming next month. So when people are out there spending their 5 days a week and getting, hey, make that Starbucks run, you don't realize what you're giving up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, enough about the preaching about that. In 1 year, 6 months, McCow Hills Village should be ready according to contract plus 6 months grace period, of course. Exactly. I'm very glad you said that, EV Place, because I want people to understand on every contract, you have a 6 month grace period. But the new contracts, they're the new contracts, they have upped it 1 year grace period. So yes, I love what you're saying. So just plan on 2 years from now, your Macau Hill. Well, Macau Hills actually started doing something. I haven't seen their latest update though, but that's going to be one hell of a deal for the ages, man. Congratulations, EV Place, on that real estate in the Dominican Republic in a high upscale location such as Macau Hills. And if they do everything that they said, and he's able to buy, I don't know what he bought, but they had 3 bedrooms, ladies and gentlemen, villas for $100,000. And at one point, they were 90 some thousand when they first came out. Even if somebody bought one today, a 3 bedroom for 120,000 villa. Yes, it's small. It's only going to be 900, 1,000, 1,100 square feet. But so what? If you're going to live there, you might want some more space. But if you're doing short-term rentals, nobody's going to care about a 950 square foot 3 bedrooms that can sleep freaking 8 people. And you can charge them only like $120 per night and you still make profit in double digits. And you only have to do 50%. This is how you build wealth, ladies and gentlemen. You buy. It's when you buy real estate. That's how you build wealth. But if he bought there, it's awesome. EV Place, 2 bedroom for 100K on. He's got the 2 bedroom villa, so that means he bought it a little later because the 2 bedrooms was actually, get this, ladies and gentlemen, 80 some $1,000 at one point. These are villas I'm referring to. I don't know if he got a 2 bedroom condo, but he said 300 meters of land. That means it's usually a villa. So again, at these price points in Macau, I think you will be able to get in 2 years, you will be able to get $100 per night. And here we go again. I like $100 because you want to build wealth. This is how you have to think. $100. Okay, fine. I bought $100,000. I need $10,000 a year or more in profit in order for me to be comfortable. I don't like investing in real estate and then somebody turns to me and goes, "Oh, aren't you going to be happy with 5%?" Hell no. Why would I be happy with 5% or 6%? Why would I be happy with single digits? Explain this. I'm taking risk if I have a building. I got to pay insurance. I got to pay an HOA. I might even have to pay taxes whenever that occurs in 15 years or something. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, the electricity, everything's going to cost more each year. It's not like it's going to stay the same. So if somebody tells me, Eric, yeah, I'm going to make $5,000 this year after I spent $100,000, I'm like, why? Why would I even take the risk to do all that? That makes no sense. So that's why you have to buy. Wealth is built from the get-go. So you go in yourself and say, just like me, I thought it was a missed opportunity for myself as well. But it's still not missed opportunity because it's in Macau. If they do what they're going to do, if they're going to do what they said, it's going to be off the charts. But nonetheless, let me give you an example: 100K, and we don't beat the hotels. We're not going to have a occupancy rate of 76% or 80% or 86% every month on average. It's not going to be no 83, 84% on average during the course of a year. No. So why am I going to pretend like we're going to do the same as a hotel and have 80% occupancy? That's not going to happen. All right. If the hotels were actually at a higher clip, like 95 to 93 to 100% occupancy, well, that would be great because hotels overbook. So that would be great. So now you would get all the extra. But at 80%, that's 17%. That's 17% on like a million people. That's a lot of people. That's 170,000 people that, you know, it needs to find a place. That's not enough. That's not enough. All right. Especially when you cut it in half at 85,000. That's not enough for a whole island. Come on now. That's not how it works. So let me get to the numbers. $100 per night, 0.1% is what we need, first of all, if we spend 100 grand. Now, if we go 50%, that is 180 nights. 180 times, it's a little more. 180 times 100 is 18,000. Okay. I like a gross of 18 grand. We can work with this now. So, what happens when you say, okay, 18 grand? Now, your 50%, 50% is reasonable. That's 18 grand. That's not total profit. I might have a property manager. I might have to give them 30% if that's what you negotiated. Most people will want 30, but I'm saying, nah, how about 20? How about 25? But I'll use 18,000 because it's a little more than 18,000, but we'll go 18,000 times 70 cents, 70%. That's what we're going to make. That drops us down to 12.6. Now, see, that's the whole question. Are you going to have your own doors that you can just give the code and have people go there where you manage it? Or do you think it's worth $5,400? Or is that $4,400? Whatever it is. 18,000 down to 12.6. Yeah, that's $5,400 I'm losing. I got to give that up to a management company. In today's environment where I can just easily say, here's the code to when you get there, here's the code. Go in. And then I turn around and I'm very generous to my housekeepers and say, here's $50 for this. That's overpayment, but I'm just saying. I give them $50, but I already charged the short-term renter the $50 for housekeeping. All right. So I'm keeping the bulk of the 18K. Simple as that. Simple as that. There's nothing else to talk about here because all I'm going to do is just make a deal with somebody that's there and say, hey, man, if I ever have problems, you got to go over there, a management company. And I'll say, I'll give you money per incident because that 35% or 30% is hefty. Now, if you can get yourself into a $14,000-$15,000 annual fee or annual profit, now you understand 14%, 13%, 15%, even 12% is better than freaking 5. That's why what you purchase for on stocks, real estate, and when you buy a business or buy into a business, watch Shark Tank. This is why these guys do the deals that they say they want to do, is because they look at their return on investment. Who wants to come out of bed if you're investing in something and say, oh, here's 5% for your trouble? You would hear even on Shark Tank where the people are like, well, that doesn't even get me excited. I can get that anywhere. I can buy ET stock if I want to get 7% or less. Right now, you can get around 7% with ET, energy transfer. It's that simple. I mean, why are we even, this is crazy. So if you're not thinking you're going to get double digits, then why would you invest in real estate? Why would you invest in anything if you can't get double digits other than stocks, dividends? It's that simple. You want to build wealth the fastest way. You don't want to have to wait 20 years. Well, guess what? You're going to find out. Okay, it's going to be my headquarters. I can service my penthouses from there. There you go, man. There you go. Yes, Villa. They were starting on sale 88K 2 years ago. Exactly. They were in the 80K range. Exactly. In fact, EV Place, there were some for 82,000. They had 2-bedroom condos for 72, but the condos I wouldn't recommend because they don't even have elevators. I'm not a fan of no elevators. Um, Even though it's cheap, but 72 at the time was like, okay, well, I'll buy something for 85 and have a 2-bedroom. It didn't make much sense, but nonetheless, yeah. Can you imagine 88K? Can you imagine that? Man, I mean that's how. Like I said, I missed out. I mean, golly, man, can you guys believe that 88K and you could still make the 18.6, but now 10% point is 8,800 every year. You have a 10,000 gap before you get down to 10%. I mean that's crazy. You would be making 20% on your money, ladies and gentlemen, if you're able to rent for $100 per night and got 50% occupancy. It's possible. We're talking about Dominican Republic, by the way, and we're talking about Macau, and we're talking about the place called Macau Hills, in case anybody's interested in that. And yes, I'm a broker. That's right. I have a business on the island. I'm a broker, SSN Lifestyle, SRL. I'm a broker. That's right. We got to make money outside of America. We have bank accounts outside of America. That's right. Because your bank accounts are already going to be possibly turned off, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying, you have to protect yourself. I love that EV Place. If everything goes well, I will trade my house in Massachusetts for 3 or 4 villas like that. EV Place, be careful with that trade in the house, man. The only reason I'm saying that is because America does have one thing that, well, inherently was one thing that nobody else had, was the freedom to do business, freedom to not have the government interfere with what you're doing, right? Well, those days are over. But the fact of the matter is, be careful. Don't get everything outside. Don't leave things that you should have in America. What you want is you want things outside of America to help pay for things inside of America if necessary. And if you do have a problem in America, you want things that make money outside of America so you can sustain yourself outside of America. That's the deal. We're going to find out how far this is going to fall. But like I said, we're basically going trending towards that third world country. And again, today, one of the financial gurus, and I don't mean guru, I mean on CNBC, publicly stated America is like an emerging market country. I was like, oh my God, finally somebody says it. All right, let's go. This is it. Jawway J. Another investors in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. We're talking about something that you're interested in. Let us know what came back with the appraisal, please. I want to hear it. He brings his tagline, hello, SSN Nation. Hope everyone is doing well. Received notification, and he smashed that like button. He gave it a 1 piece. Everybody, make sure you share no matter where you are. If you're on Facebook, if you're on the iHeart, come on now. If you're on iTunes, come on now. Let's go. Share this because there's people out here drowning. 80% of the population is living paycheck to paycheck during the month, which means they hardly have any disposable income. But all you have to do is just take $15 to $20 every month, if that's what it takes. You got to put it into something that makes money for you. If you don't have the skill set, all right? And oh, by the way, speaking of skill sets, because, business is second nature to me, I'm thinking what's going to happen this year is going to be a slew of catastrophes with weather. So I'm thinking What's one business where you have locations that are surrounded by trees, rivers? I'm thinking, wouldn't it be of great interest to be in the tree business? You know, they're going to be coming down this winter like no tomorrow. I think I need to be in the tree business, ladies and gentlemen. The journey started. The insurance business thing that I was going to do, it doesn't actually quite work. It can work for a few things, but I can't really make money from it. So basically, if I can't make money from it, it doesn't make sense. But the tree business, where there's 1,000 trees around, that makes sense. And you got to be ready, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, did you guys know trees in southeastern states that people can charge like 3 grand, 4 grand, 5 grand, 8 grand to take down trees, chop them up, cut them up, put it down to a stub, and get rid of everything? Can you believe that people have to pay somewhere between 5 and 10 grand? And if you say 2 trees, you might be able to still get that 5 to 10 grand, but everything won't be done, right? That is a person like myself who understands that other people who say, well, there is no climate change, well, that's fine, but I'm basing business on climate change. Let's just get real. All right. So you can play. I don't believe, but I'm just going to say there's going to be devastation, and it already started with the tornadoes, and there's no FEMA. There's nobody there to help these people from a month or two ago. Nobody in Helene in South Carolina either. So once again, who's moving their stuff? All right, here we go. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Jawway J, very happy to see you once again. Make sure you guys smash that like button because we're trying to do the wealth tonight. Get it while you can because you're not going to be able to get it sooner or later. Again, if you have 80% of the population living paycheck to paycheck during the month, the only people that's going to be able to get the wealth are the people that have money, the wealthy. So if you don't have some way to get the passive income coming in and you have no way to invest in something, this is why I use simple numbers like $15, $20, because again, I explain like to kids, every $15 could actually mean $2 in your pocket for years. So when you start saying I spent $150 on some shoes and you're like, okay, I put them in a box, I set them on a shelf, and now you're sitting there going, well, wait a minute, man, you could have, that's $10 every month, $120 per year that you're giving up. Is that what you're going to tell me right now? That's what you don't think about. You're like, oh, I bought this and it looks good in a case. It's going to go up in value. But what you're giving up is, are you liquid? How many sports figures do you guys understand that NFL, NBA players are broke as soon as 4 to 5 years after making hundreds of millions of dollars, in some cases, after making tens of millions of dollars, 30, 40, $50 million? And you would say, how could this happen? Well, how it happens is because just like lottery winners, they say, "Oh, you know that Lambo, it's only 350,000. You know that Ferrari, it's only 400,000. Oh, you know that supercar, I always want. Oh, and you know what? I wanted an RV, and that's only the best one, 400 grand. I got to get that. This money will last me forever." They're buying liabilities, collectibles that after you sell it, it's not making you any money. It's not making you money after you buy it. And after you sell it, you just get money back. And now, after you spend that money, if you didn't buy assets, what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen? Come on now. This isn't rocket science. Hold on, what's this? I've got this house for 40K foreclosure. Oh, I love it. I've thrown 100K in. It was a flip project from the beginning. Okay, great job, man. I see EV places in the real estate game. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Real estate, stocks, gold, silver, crypto, precious metals. You can't go wrong. You got to have a little of every, just a little. Not you don't have to have a lot of everything, but the number one things are real estate, business, and stocks are the top things. But then when you say, well, what makes a wealthy person? Well, they have real estate, they have stocks, they have businesses. Those are the three keys. So you got to be in it to win it. But there's nothing wrong working for another company, putting in your 401k at the end of 25 to 30 years that you got 800 to 1 million, 1.5 million in your brokerage account. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. But then you're going to have to monitor that, because if you don't have another business or more passive income coming in, then you're going to have to worry about spending 40 grand a year or 30 grand a year or 50 grand a year. Because if you retire at 62 or 60, or well, hey, they move you out the way, because when you're 55 or 50, they start going, well, why are we paying this dude 130 grand when these kids will sign up right now and they actually just came out of school and they'll take 65, and they'll even do internship. So now you get pushed out the door anyhow, most of the time, because there's no reason to pay you any ridiculous money when there's all these people out of work. Let's get real. Look at what's happening, ladies and gentlemen. You might have to change your life when the government is firing government employees, civil workers. And it's not like 5 grand, it's like 100,000 plus. All those people used to make generally around 90,000 and up, six figures. Now they're all out here looking for six-figure jobs because their lifestyle is dictated for the six figures. Gotta be with the Joneses most of the time. All right, I like it. The appraisal came back at 199. I challenged the report and requesting the second one. Hey, Jawway J, how much are they selling the second phase for? Is the second phase less than is this? Wait, no, I know the second phase is not. Wait, hold on. You have a villa. There is no way they're selling 3-bedroom villas for under $200,000. Where? I was just looking today. I mean, okay, first of all, let me clarify. They are selling already made villas for $200,000, 220, 230 and under on the open market that I've seen, that I get. This is what I was talking about on my 125,000 Airbnb short-term rentals, Dominican Republic videos, that I fear is going to happen. But here's the thing: those people spent over 200 grand, and they're now trying to just get rid of them because they realize the short-term rental thing, they can't charge $230 per night. They're not going to be able to charge 1.1% for having a random villa in the middle of nowhere. People are like, no, why would I do that? I'm not going to stay out here, and when I can stay somewhere else for $120 a night, closer to where I need to be. So that's what starts happening. So I want to know, where can somebody get a project? Where can somebody buy a 3-bedroom? I don't know what you have. A 3-bedroom, let's call it 2 bath, around 1,600 square feet, somewhere like that. I think they were. Where can somebody get something for under 200 G's right now? I know the project has to charge more than 199. In fact, you want to know something? Let me see if I can pull something up right here. What's disgusting? There's a place at Seven Palms called Privé. They used to have the 3-bedroom, 2 baths, used to be uh 240,000. All right, 240,000. Let me see if I can pull this up. What am I? Uh, who am I looking for? Let me see if I have preview here now. 240,000. Do we have it? Some palms. Preview. I think this is preview right here. Remember this: 249 for what I'm about to show you. All right. All right. Look at this. Here's the new prices. Look at the top. All over 300 grand. Everything is 100 grand more. The 299 unit, 279 unit is 399 now. The unit that used to be 249, 259s are like 340 to 360 now. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. 1 year ago, you could have bought these in the 200. These are villas, by the way. All right. And they are roughly 16, 1700 square feet. Now, this little situation, these were sold out. Two popped up. But you know why they popped up is because it makes no sense. Why are you going to the DR to buy a villa for 400 grand, 399, 351? If you're going to spend that type of money and put down 20%, then you could buy an investment property in the United States if you believe in a tourist location. If you believe, so why would you spend that money? You're not. So this is why there's going to be an implosion. So this is crazy that in Seven Palms, which is inside Vistacana, I understand Yahweh J's not inside. They're in Las Risipal, but still, it's by there. It's fine. But the point I'm trying to make is these guys are. This is what's happening all over the island, and the pre-construction is more than what people are selling for. So this is a problem. It's going to be a problem. 199K is a joke. I don't see how. By the way, even if you're this right here, Privé, even if you had a 1,300 square foot, if La Risa Paul was 1,300 square foot or 1,400 square foot, they're charging 279 for the 1,300 square foot and 289.9 for 1,400 square feet. So there is no way that the villa should be 199. I understand it's inside Vistacana, but does Vistacana give us an extra 50K or 100K premium? I don't think so. I don't think so. Not when your place actually they expanded. Not when they have a restaurant, I believe. They have a mini mart there now because they expanded on some things they didn't weren't going to have before. They have the fitness center. They have the pool. They have a basketball court, I think, because they put it in their. They made up their new plans, their new building plans, and they added. They took a lot out to add in a basketball court. So they actually have amenities there. This isn't like just a villa complex. So once again, I don't know where they're getting the 199 from. That's kind of crazy. All right, DR is not my only basket. I have some properties in Europe and other assets like gold and crypto. Exactly, EV Place. You look like a real investor. So I knew already that you didn't just have real estate. I figured you had other things because we've talked about crypto before as well. And in the EU zone, that's beautiful as well. And you're buying at the right price. You're an investor, so you know you're not overpaying for things. You're buying what deals are there and taking advantage. EV, global warming, more CO2, bigger trees, more to cut. Exactly, EV Place. And more storms to come. So when storms come and trees are down, people are like, hey, come help me, like yesterday. But right? Hey, it's blocking my driveway like yesterday. Hey, get this out the middle of the road. Oh, damn, it hit my fence. Come get this. So this blooms into something that I like, exponentials. So you go out for a tree. Next thing you know, they're going, I need my fence fixed. Oops, we got an upsell, right? I love it. I love exponentials. All right. So, and then there's way, way more because after you cut trees down, you could generally make a deal with the mill and get some more money. I'm just saying, I see opportunity galore. The whole Southeast is nothing but trees. It's crazy. So there we go. I think that's what my next venture will be. In fact, I know that's what it's going to be because I already made calls today to actually, I've never been in the tree business, right? I'm just going to give you guys some business stuff that I've done my whole life. So I recognize I'm not an expert at the moment in the tree cutting business, right? So what do? I call up a tree cutting business, an expert. What I just candidly said, hey, I want to be in the tree business. How much do you have in insurance? They said 1 million. I don't believe that's enough, but that's their business. I said, do you cut trees? Do you just prune trees? What exactly do you do? Oh, no, we cut them down. We do everything. We have our crew. We got everything straight. I'm like, okay, I need to talk to the owner because the owner wasn't available. I said, okay, great. Just tell him, you can just relay the message because I'm going to tell him in person or when I see him or talk to him, I'm just going to tell him I've never been in the business, but I want to partner. I want to do something where I'll bring business to you. We'll make a deal. I'll take that. I'll sit on the sidelines. I know we can charge people $5,000 to $10,000 for one or two trees. So now it's just a matter of how much do I need his workers to get paid, and how much do we need to split? Right? It's simple, really. So once we figure that out, I'm thinking it's going to work out. If he says no, I'm just going to make another phone call tomorrow to more people. Be like, hey. So now I don't care about. I'll take kibbles and bits. Just send me my few G's, 2, 3 G's. We do that a couple, 3, 4 times a month, or three, or two, or one time a month. I'm good. I didn't have to work it just a little bit. I'm not cutting trees. I'm not doing anything. But I'm going to be learning about the business as we go, and then I'll do a not meaning I'm going to sever ties, but what I mean is I'll figure out the other derivatives that I can do. So now we already know I'm already in my head thinking I need some fence guy, right? Then I'm thinking, oh, sheesh, I need landscaping because I know what's going to happen. You're going to be out there, cut down stuff, and then you just say, hey, who's doing your landscaping out here? If they like your business, you can give them a right price. Now you have landscaping. You can see where this goes, right? This is how I think, anyhow. This is where I go. I try to take over if I can. Makes sense. Business. Speaking of business, the seamless genius is here. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. Biznessa and brings her tagline, hey, Boston SSN fam, happy Wednesday to you. And I know you've been slaying dragons. I know you've been out here building the wealth team, making the wealth game happen for you and your familia. All right. Very happy to see you once again. Joe Nay, he's in the mix right now. He's in the DR. He's taking it to heart. He said, you know what? I'm out. I'm somewhere where I want to chill and relax. And he's in the DR. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. And he brings his tagline this evening. What's good, everybody? It's all good. We're here. You have to F average, ladies and gentlemen. Be legendary. Nothing can stop you. How was everybody this evening? I just smashed that like button. He gave it a 1 piece. I love it. Thank you so much for that. Make sure you guys give it a 1 piece. Who's ever watching, make sure you share the video because you never know what's going on out here. Business, I hope everybody is good. It's nuts out here. Exactly. It's nuts everywhere right now, man. Talking about devastation. Talking about changing America for the worse, is my opinion. because you don't have the people to work. You don't have the extra income coming in. You're removing people who have visas, who here legally, and all this, that, and the other, who are professionals in the tech space, doctors, lawyers. You're removing people that help society. And by the way, you know them guys that's picking the fruits and veggies and all that, they're helping society too. You know the guys that are doing landscaping and doing all the helping the construction projects be built. Hey, good luck, because you know there's going to be a contraction, right, in the economy. What I mean is there's going to be less jobs available, unless of course you want to work for $8 an hour or something, or $15 an hour. I mean, there's going to be plenty of them jobs in the hot sun this summer. And right now, there's plenty of them jobs available. And oh, by the way, you might want to get your skills up for the construction jobs. Tallahassee, Florida. ICE went to a couple places in Florida. ICE went to Orlando and Tallahassee at a construction job. And they claimed they got all these undocumented, for instance. This is happening all over the place. All them homes. A guy was on TV 2 weeks ago talking about he came out, his house is 3/4 built. He came out and he's like, there's nobody here. My house can't be built. And I gave them like $400,000 to the developer. Developer's sitting there like, oh, wow, yeah, I don't, yeah, no explanation. The guy now has to live in a hotel because his house was supposed to be ready like last month. It's crazy. This is affecting more people than you think by craziness. And now somebody has to replace this crew of 20 undocumented or 15 undocumented, right? I use the word undocumented, and I don't mean undocumented really like some people would think. That phrasing is something that should not be used. All right. So, what I'm getting at is if I get a job, if I go to another country and I just come across the border and I'm undocumented, but I knock on the business door and say, hey, man, I need a job here. And he's cutting me a check, or I guess paying me in cash. The government may say undocumented. You might call it undocumented. I'm calling it like, damn, that's a laborer to me. That's a person making money from work to help business, and that translates into helping other people. So if you say undocumented is bad, I'm like, well, if I'm the only one that's going to take the job, otherwise nothing gets done, that's a problem. And that's what basically just happened when they start taking 15, 20 people off of a construction site going, you're undocumented. I'm like, so are we going to start arresting the people that hired them? Because that doesn't seem to be the case. But I do know this. Everybody that was going to have their house built and they put down money and got a mortgage or construction loan or whatever they did, oh, they're going to have problems. And the developer's going to have problems too when he gets lawsuits. So again, talking about the demise is a bad thing, ladies and gentlemen. All right. It's nuts is right. I found one, but does anyone have a website where I can order an electric home meter consumption with Wi-Fi? Joe Nay. Okay. He's out here. Anyone have a website where I can order an electric home meter consumption with Wi-Fi? Don't know. I don't know. Let me think. Where would you get your consumption meter from, or consumption? Well, that would mean you don't have it under your name. If you had it under your name, you can check your Wi-Fi. I'm pretty sure it has to exist some way, somehow. Oh, you can check. No, no, you can't. I was going to say, you can check on your phone how much Wi-Fi usage you do, but you can't check on your TV, I don't think. I don't think so. Brian P., Mr. Dividend is here. Did you guys see this? all the dividends. That's right. He's responsible for the Yield Max ETF notification along with post-retirement travel 2 years and a half ago. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. He's been clocking dollars for 2.5 years. But first, welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. And ladies and gentlemen, imagine this. I got to give out a little shout out to Mr. Dividend. Imagine this, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine if you have I don't know how much he has, but I'll use an example. Imagine if if you had like 1,000 shares of SMCY and you get a check for $1,580 on Friday. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine that. How about 500 shares? Cut it in half, $750 roughly. $800 roughly. Would you not be happy? And imagine if that can come every month. That'd almost be like $8,000, $9,000, $9,000 a year. This is why we're talking about building wealth, ladies and gentlemen, because this is what you're going to have to do. It's standard 1 year, 6 months is what you have left. Brian P., happy day, Eric. Thank you. I hope all is well with you. Happy day, SSN family. Yes, all is well with me, and happy SSN family day for everybody. Smash that like button. That's right. That's what I love to hear. We are making money in here. That's exactly right. F average. Be legendary. All right, Yahweh J. Let's see what he's got to say. Second phase is selling for $245 with no options included. What the? See, this is what I'm talking about. This $199 is BS, man. This is what I'm saying. It's BS. We already knew it was BS, but that's why I showed the $100,000 more for Privé inside Vistacana. So if second phase is doing 245K, then this is outstandingly seriously bad. I mean, this is crazy. 245K with no options. Exactly. Zero options? Ooh, they got stingy. But this is what I expected, though, because with that's 100,000 more, and you take out the options, and so that gets them to the number they need with no options included. Please, if you guys get this lady called Eureka Tapia that the bank seem to be pushing, don't use her. Thank you for the warning. Eureka Tap. See, this is the problem I had with these. Look, I got in touch with a couple of these appraisers, and this guy gave an appraisal for the beach penthouse unit at $500 and some odd $1,000. And so I had to call him up. I said, "Wait, they don't even sell it for they sell it for 300 and something right now. How are you getting this 500?" You know what the guy told me? He started, in fact, he pretty much was like, "I don't even want to talk to you no more," because I was like saying, he goes, "Oh, you know, the everything in there is better than what's at Vistacana." I was like, we're talking about the beach, right? Which is downtown. You don't even get to use Vistacana as any sort of real estate that you're supposed to be looking at. Isn't that like 4 or 5 kilometers away or something? I'm like, what are you talking about right now? I was like, how are you comparing these? He's like, well, that's what I'm based it on. I said, you can't base it on that. I said, this is big. So now he goes, okay. So then I said to him, I said, okay, what do you, I said, what's your radius that you can actually put in comps? He's just like, he didn't answer. I said, you do realize you cannot go 2-3 kilometers away talking about your compare, and we're talking about the furnishings. The furnishings have nothing to do with it. I was like, I can put in better furnishings than anybody. You're not going to sit there. I started getting upset because I was like, man, this is foul. Because I started getting upset. I was like, so you mean to tell me if I put in upscale items, upscale furniture, and I still have the same 2,500 square feet, the $500,000 appraisal you gave, you're going to tell me because my furniture is better and I upgraded everything that now mine is worth 550,000? It's the same square footage, the same place, the same location. Since when do you start talking about furniture or furnishings when they're all the same? There is nobody out here. Basically, whatever you go to, all the bathroom units are still the same. They have the same 3 or 4 different bathroom units for sinks, the same toilets, the same flushable toilets, all the same. I'm like, what are you talking about right now? I said, I don't believe you. I said, okay, tell me something then. So, what is the next one down, a 2,000 square foot 3 bedroom or 4 bedroom, 3 bedroom? And he's like, well, I don't know. I said, how don't you know? If you're giving me a 200, 2,000 per square meter price point, doesn't that mean that's supposed to be 400,000? I was like, what are you talking? So after that, I said, okay, I'll tell you what. Why don't we just make this easy? Why don't you just come on my live stream? Why don't you come on my live and explain how you, as an appraiser, determine the value of properties in the DR? All of a sudden, the guy's like, "Oh, I'm busy. I'm too busy. I can't be." I'm like, "Click." So then I tried to reach him back. Dude's like, no answer. And then finally, some lady calls me and goes, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. This guy says that you wanted to talk about appraisals." Yeah, I was like, "No, I don't want to talk. I want somebody from your office to come on my live stream and explain how you're evaluating these projects and these units." And so when they said, well, maybe, kind of, that's a sign right there. Come on. It's bogus. Like you said, Yahweh J, I hate to see this, man. Bogus. This is the thing, Eric. If you're getting pre-construction for 100K in 2 years, you can make 50K on ETFs. Investing 50K, you have to pay at the end. High risk, high rewards. Exactly. That's exactly the point. But, I will say, that's the thing. Most people don't have the 50K to put down. I'm just saying. So that's where I'm coming from. If you got to put down 20%, you're going to pay over time. And meanwhile, you could have put that same 20K down and you could already be making money next week at 8, 9, 6%. That's the problem. That's where I'm actually going. You've explained it. My 20 grand without putting anything else in, you could have, hold on a second. Let me do some mathematical equations. So when we start talking about 20 grand, well, I'll use it the easy way: 20 grand, and we get 4% on our money this week. That's $800. I'm just saying, or okay, I won't use this week. I'll say this month so everybody feels comfortable. $800 this month is what we're going to make on 20 grand. So that's where this goes. It's like, well, do I want to put 20 grand down for that condo or villa and then give them $2,500 a month or $2,000 a month or $1,800 a month when I can actually get back $800 per week or per month, sorry, per month, and not have to wait 3, 4 years? So those 3, 4 years, I'm getting $800 a month. So that's 9 G's. Well, it could be more, but let's just say 9 G's a year. 4 years, 36 G's. Not only do you have the 20K, you also have the 36, 40 G's. I'm just saying, doesn't make sense. But yeah, you got it exactly right, EV Place. You're an investor. You understand. Some companies have contracts that you can't split or open your own for 2 years from quitting. So check it out first. Uh, yeah, nobody's quitting, EV Place. We're not doing that. No, I'm trying to work with somebody else that has their own business. We'll see how it all shakes out. I think I'm going to be successful because there's some things that happen in business. If I if I have 3 jobs this month and somebody brings me one job and I split it, I'm happy because now my workers get paid more. So anything added is a perfect thing for them. It's up to me after that. After we do the one job, now I have rules where I say, okay, man, if there's any derivatives, I'm going to have my own little crew that can do landscaping because that's easy. Anybody can do that. I'll have my own little crew that can do some pickup and trimming. But other than that, anybody cutting down trees, doing all that, we got to do that. When somebody says, I want fence work, we here. That's easy stuff, right? Low hanging fruit stuff that we can still make money for, or shall I say, I can employ people to do it and I make a little bit of cash, right? Gentlemen, even in this season, because you guys know what's coming next. Insurance companies also pay, right? Okay, let's go. I like what you're saying, EV Place. High risk, high rewards. 50K on ETFs, investing 50K, you have to pay at the end. High risk, high rewards. Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly right. Some company, yep, that is true. Most companies have that. If you work for somebody and it's a consulting or any business where you're involved, even if you're an executive or employee, they will say you can't start another business in this area for up to 2 years. Generally, it's 2 years. It's generally 2 years. There's no 1 years anymore. It's 2 years. And some are even saying five, up to five. It's crazy. But yeah, I understand your point, man. You're exactly right. And you know what's funny? Because I know you used to be or studied or used to be in hospitality industry. That's one of them hospitality industry things. If you work for one company, they try to block you from working for somebody else. I'm not playing this bank ghost game, Joe Nay. I'm just coming with straight cash. The banks act like they don't want my business. Exactly, Joe Nay. This is exactly where I'm going. And you know what that also means? That looks like opportunity to me. I just haven't figured out how I can make that happen. Well, actually, I have figured out how I can make it happen. But it's I gonna be dealing with something that I don't really like to deal with, which is crypto. But I think I can make it happen. I just got to make sure my company, if I create a company for it, that it would be it can be done. And also, Joe Nay, since you're in DR, I don't know if you mess with crypto or not, but when I was in DR, I couldn't download crypto stuff. So what I want to know is, can you download? Can you do crypto over in DR? I know it's not illegal. I know there's no problem. You can do crypto. You can buy and sell it, whatever. But I want to know, can you actually trade it? Is there an exchange that you can use? If anybody knows. All right, I'm gonna have to do a short PLTY. 70 some cents. No, $7 last week, or was it? That's crazy. Yeah, they don't want nobody's business. That's the problem because it's incredible. I can't believe you have thousands, tens of thousands of people that need loans. I cannot believe they have their pants down. The banks. They knew 8 years ago that they were going to need to get people loans for mortgages. And people have put down 20, 30, 40, 50%, 60, 80% in the case of Noval. All right, I'm going to have to get something to drink here shortly. Let me get this off the screen. All right. They text me on WhatsApp and I ghost them back. I love it. Yes. 20,000. There you go. Oh, see, Brian P, man, come on. See, see, Brian P, I didn't want to go there. That's why I used 800. I didn't want to use the real numbers because then people think that's too fantastical. See, he had to say it. 1900. This is Mr. Dividend, ladies and gentlemen. He's heavy into the option income yield max ETFs, and this is the type of return that he's receiving every month. This is not a lie. This is what he's receiving. And And that's just in one phase because he has a few thousand shares of once. Can you imagine somebody holding like 3,500, 4,000 shares and the stock is giving like, whether it's 30 cents or whether it's $1.50, can you imagine 2 grand, 3 grand, 3,500, 4 grand a month? That's right. It's going down. That's right. That's why we call him Mr. Dividends. This is what he's doing. This is what he's doing. He's saying right now, 1,900 for that, or Coney and MSTY. Exactly. You'd be doing serious damage. You would have 1,000 shares. Oh, MSTY, the price right now, you would have roughly a thousand. Is it? Yeah, 1,000 shares. 1,000 shares. And MSTY is giving 1.47. So you'd have a check for $1,470 coming this month on your 20 grand. Next month could be like another thousand. So you could be over 10% in 2 months. You will be over 10% if you already got 1,470. So this is what we're talking about out here, ladies and gentlemen. Congrats, Brian P. Exactly. Oh yeah, this man's heavy. He's heavy because he was doing some reinvestment. So you can understand if you're reinvesting like $1,000, all it takes is a few more months and you got another few hundred shares. And then it just keeps snowballing. I mean, great job. Thank you. Great job. ULTY is only like $6, man. It's crazy right now. Crazy. That's the share price. And the ULTY is giving out this is 9 cents. 9.45 cents is what it's giving out. So again, let me see. What is that? 90? Let's go. 1,000. That'd be 6 grand times 0.0945. $94 for 6 grand. Oh wait, sorry. That's weekly. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. That's not monthly. That's weekly. So $360 or whatever. We'll round down. 350. Even though that's not it, but we'll round down. 350. All right. 350, let's just say per month, 3,500 on 6 grand annually. I think most people would take that and more because you're gonna probably reinvest. So I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen, opportunities knocking. This is the way you build wealth. Thank you so much, Brian P. EV Place, Joe Nay. I appreciate everything you guys are talking about here tonight, and I appreciate you guys being in the house because these are the wealth builders, ladies and gentlemen. Biznessa, also known as the seamless genius, is so genius about business. Can come up with derivatives, can come up with all kind of things. It's awesome. This is the right house to be in if you want to learn, you want to figure out ways. And oh, by the way, I forgot something. I forgot this live stream is rolling right along, and I forgot I'm live. Ooh, wait, what happened? I thought oh wow. Hold on a second. I have something I need to do because I thought I deleted the first live, but for whatever reason it didn't happen. This is crazy. We had a little glitch. We had a live stream that I started, and unfortunately there was a little glitch that occurred, and we had to restart. But it's okay. You guys are here. And the podcast, that's good too. So everybody will be ready. I got to do something real quick. First, I need a little water, but nonetheless, second, I didn't add anything down below. So you guys don't have anything that you can download. No free stocks from Robinhood, Webull if you haven't already gotten a brokerage account for your stocks. That's how you build wealth. If you want to invest in the Dominican Republic, hit me up at support at stopstrugglingnow.com. I am a broker there under the SSN Lifestyle brand. All right. So help yourself with that. The other thing is make sure you're building wealth over the next 1 year and 6 months. All right. That's what you have. Your goals 775 credit score, 1 year, 6 months. Liabilities close to zero as possible. All right. Those are the things you need. You want some help? Then you're going to need to look down below in the description box after you refresh the page. Because if you want to reduce your debts on a 2 year plan or less, and somebody gets you back out, which is Tracy at resolvefinance.com. That's right. It's an email address, Tracy, TRACY at resolvefinance.com. Let her know you're from the SSN Nation. Eric sent you. All right. It's that simple. She's familiar. She's going to help you out. She loves doing this, just like she's part of what I like to do to help people. She likes to do. She does it a different way with your debt to get it restructured. And it could be, I don't know the numbers, but 15 to 20 to 30%, 40% done off. And then they restructure it. So then your credit is back to good standing in 2 years or less, right? That's the goal. That's all you need. You need 2 years to get your debt in order. All right. I have things that can help you build down below as well. So make sure you do that. We have the smart credit. You want your credit to improve? There's things down below in the description box. You want to be able to make sure you monitor your credit and ways that you can improve your credit and understand your hiring index score, your insurance score. If you want to go out and buy a liability such as a car, your FICA score for cars, all of that's down below. Make sure you help yourself to that information. Also, what else is going to be down below? Oh yeah, we got to have the Webull and the stocks. In case you don't have a brokerage account, we got to get you in that. And also, there's something called Wealthfront. Some of you might not want to do stocks. Some of you might say, "Hey Eric, what about set it and forget it with just a fund?" Well, we have something Wealthfront. That's also down in the description box. All right, 500. They don't even charge you a fee. As long as you have under $4,900, they'll manage your account for zero. How about that? I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen, put yourself in the right position to win. That's what it takes. You don't have to be smart. You just have to find smart people, or you can make yourself smart by learning. Either way, you win. And that's what I want. Rising tide lifts all boats, and we need a rising tide right now, like no tomorrow. Because we have a lot of tearing down of this great country of ours going on right now, putting things in place that should not be in place to create a deterioration for your standard of living. It's not the wealthy standard of living. They're going to be fine regardless, but ordinary citizen standard of living, it's dropping drastically. You got 1 year, 7 months, 1 year, 6 months, actually. Sorry. Because now we're in June and time is flying. So don't get caught with your pants down for your future. All right. But I don't know what to tell you. We're going to close this out here in a second. If you have anything that you want to discuss, please do it now. If you have another comment or helpful information that could help people with the wealth curve and increase it, let us know. Mention it. All right. I'm doing lots of things in the background because I don't have the live stream wasn't actually set up properly, but it's all right. Still going to be fine. All right. I've seen something that I've never seen before, so that's interesting. But it's all right. Okay. YoMax ETFs. It's out. In case you're new here and don't understand the power. Here we go. Oh, I'm glad you mentioned this. I'm glad you did mention this. High dividend so far is NVDY765. There you go. EV Place got himself a nice little chunk of change of shares of NVDY. Exactly. Nice. Hey, Eric, JEPQ paid today. You damn right, ladies and gentlemen. Did you see that? Pays the first week of every month. That's right. You can get your dividends, passive income, the first week of every month. Talk about JEPQ. Talk about 11, 12% return. Safe. That's JP Morgan, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for mentioning this, Brian P. A lot of people want to be conservative. This is one way you can be conservative. Get a JP Morgan ETF on the stock market. If you like 12%, I'm not mad. I like double digits no matter how you slice it. I like 12%. I like 11.5. I like anything over 10%. We always want double digits because the power of 72 is if you divide whatever you divide by 72. So if you say 72 divided by 10, that's going to take you 7.2 years to double your money. All right. So if somebody says we're going to give you 30%, now you know 2 years and a few months you get your money back. Or not back, but you make whatever you put in. So if you put in 70, you put in 100,000, it'll take you about 2.5 years to get that back at that 30% return. All right. Um, okay, Tesla Cybertruck caught on camera, lit up today. That's not good. But it's great for everybody that's holding Tesla shorts, TSLY shorts with option income trading. But it's not TSLY, so don't get excited. It's not, it's not, but they do short with Crash. CRSH, I believe, is it. I think. But there you go. It's lots of opportunities here for everybody. I haven't seen where you can exchange crypto, but it's almost impossible because the Wi-Fi internet is like the electricity. Your 100 must will be downgraded to 30 megabytes per second in like a week. Oh my God. See, Joe Nay, now you understand my disgust with none of the upgrades for infrastructure. This is what people don't understand. You start finding out these little idiosyncrasies that after you stay there for a while, you're just like, is this really happening right now? You're thinking at first like there must be some minor mistake. Then you're just like, well, no, it's not a minor mistake. This is how it is. Oh, you're like, oh no, hold on. Jonay has the gangster hustle going on. DR has the gangster hustle going on. Hey man, you know what's funny? They got they got third world hustle going on. It's laughable. It's laughable. You know why it's laughable? It's like one of these like I say, it's crabs in a bucket. And so basically because they're destroying taking advantage of people, they don't realize that those people don't like to be taken advantage of are going to one day just say, you know what? I don't even need to waste my time, energy, effort. Why am I doing this? So I don't need to give you any more of my money. So you guys are just going to have to keep all the money that you guys are making on the island and be a crabs in a barrel because that's ultimately where things could lead. So if you're long as you're happy with allowing the country to grow, then you're going to be fine. But for me, I'm sitting there, like I said, after my almost 3 months worth of staying there last year, I learned so much in the way people act. I just couldn't believe it. People were mad because I said, remember in early 2024 and the end of December 2023, I go, oh, takeover 2024. I'm coming. And I was going to do the real estate and I was always explaining, yeah, man, why aren't there cameras on the on the lots? Why isn't there something in the development that show people every day what's happening? I was explaining all this stuff. I get there in January and I couldn't believe it. There was some dudes upset. I was like, what are you upset about? They're like, oh man, you were like talking about you're going to be doing a takeover, this, that, and the other. I said, hold on. I explained what I meant, right? I said I'm trying to buy lots. Square meters, thousands of square meters. I'm building, developing, meaning I got to hire people, meaning we're going to be bringing in additional funds to the country. What's your problem? I'm like, are you serious right now? I had several people in the development space that was saying crap like that. I'm like, what's your problem? Do you know how much jungle there is here? Seriously. Like, how's it going to affect your ass? I got offended. So I heard that bullshit. Excuse my language, ladies and gentlemen. I just get upset. You know, we're demonetized, by the way. So, you know, it don't really matter. But the point is, when they started that, I couldn't believe it. First person, I was like, whatever. Second person, I was like, hold on a second. And these guys don't even know each other. And I hearing this, hey man, I saw in your video that you're talking about taking over the real estate and doing this. I said, what you talking about right now? You know, there's like 5 families that have this country on lock. I said, I'm actually coming over here trying to help people. And they're like, what do you mean? I said, first of all, I'm making development properties for people to invest in. And second of all, have you been a half a mile off the main roads? Do you see how people are living out here? I have a plan. I'm going to make affordable housing for them for everything that we're building. We're going to put money into affordable housing that are only 700, 800, 900, 1,000 square feet. And because I'm going to use panel construction, it's only going to cost like 30, 40 grand. So that means ordinary citizens that you and your friends and everybody that lives here and can't leave, you guys are going to have a place where somebody can put down a few $1,000s and I'll accept monthly payments for. So I'm going to be helping out people that live here who don't make $50,000 a year or $20,000 a year. I took offense. Now you guys can understand. I'm taking offense when I'm talking to these people about this. I'm like, man, I don't even want to hear it. And then I realized at that point, after I'm talking to these people, then I realized these MFers are trying to stop me. I couldn't believe it. I was like, hold up a second. These dudes were like trying to stop me. I was like, oh, you know what? Okay. Y'all don't deserve none of this that I've been doing. All these years I've been trying to help you guys out. No, man. We have a different point of view at this point. You ain't getting the same love that you got before. So don't be. No, you're not. Nobody's. We're not hanging no more. You ain't coming on my shows talking nothing about nothing. Sorry, ain't gonna happen. I don't know y'all no more. That's how I am right now. Joe Nay, he tells me DR has a gang. Yeah, they're gangsters. Bullshit. They do though. They want to keep it where it's like they want to keep it like it is. And I'm sitting there like, you're letting the 5 families basically run everything, and you're going to let your government run everything if you continue this path. Because you guys aren't going to have any of the wealth. You're not even trying. You're just giving them this stuff. So when Rainieri says, oh, I'm going to charge $120, $140 in taxes for round trip flights that come into the Punta Cana airport, they don't give a damn that you're not going to have no tourists coming. They don't give a damn if they go from 800,000 tourists down to 300,000 tourists. But you're going to be the one that's hurt because nobody's coming to your business doing your guys' stuff. Nobody's going to have a job. All this stuff is going downhill. And you're going to talk to me this way? No, man. Y'all tripping. Y'all tripping right now. All right. Hey, Eric, did you get my... Oh, thank you so much, Brian P. I did get a notification for a Cash App on Monday. You know what? I don't even mess with it that often. I just thought it was a notification. In fact, I should have shown you. It still had a number 1 up there telling me there's a notification. I was just like, I don't know. Oh, damn. I got a few. Wow. Thank you so much, Brian P. I love it. Thank you, man. I appreciate the note, too. Keep up the great works. Yep, Monday, man. I did see it, but I just kind of like, they send me a message. I wasn't thinking anything, but thank you so much for mentioning that. Thank you so much. And by the way, Cash App, that's right. We are demonetized. We've been demonetized, ladies and gentlemen. I don't make money on videos, just so you guys, and I barely made money on videos to begin with. So that's why I don't even really care. But the point is, I care about helping you guys because I love making ordinary citizens winners. I want you guys to win. I don't want you caught slipping because you're working so hard. Anybody that sees my videos, I want you guys to understand you're working paycheck to paycheck, 80% of you. So don't act and pretend like, oh, yeah, well, that's not me. Okay, let me just put it to you a different way. It may not be you now, but with what is going down, all it takes is no health care, no insurance, no nothing, and all of a sudden you got bills. All it takes is somebody saying, oh, I'm sorry, we have to lay you off. I'm sorry, we have 3,000 people and we have to lay off 700. That's all it takes. You think, how long do you think you're going to be getting unemployment? How much do you think it's going to be? The country's in debt $36 trillion dollars and counting. I'm just saying. Thank you so much, Brian P., for that. So you got 1 year, 7 months, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Last time I've checked, it was $50 a month for 1 month per Starlink on DR. That's exactly right. It's 45 plus tax. That's exactly right. But there's another fee added on top, and it ain't no damn $50. But then again, DR, I don't know. DR might have, you know how it is, right? Americans pay the most. DR can't really have that many people that can afford it. So I'm pretty sure the prices are lower than in the US. So we'll see. I meant to say if you have 100 megabytes and you're doing crypto on your laptop and or computer, then Altice and Claro is going to reduce your megabytes to 30 megabytes. So you're going to have to pay to keep that Mbps up. Exactly. I was wondering about that because my thing was, how do they? My thing was the electrical grid, right, is a problem. So my thing was, if the electrical grid's a problem, that means my Wi-Fi goes out. But that also means they have to put Wi-Fi lines in, like fiber optics or cable, right? Because I doubt if they're going to use fiber optics because they can't even do a sewer project. So they're probably using cable. Cable only can go up to what, 300 or 400 megabytes per second maxed? I think you're maxed out, right? So what's going to happen when you have to push through on all these apartments and all this stray cable coax going through? You guys know there's degradation when you're running through coax, right? Well, maybe people don't know. Again, I used to do Dish Network, ladies and gentlemen. You'll have to come back on Friday night and I'll talk to you about Dish Network stories. But nonetheless, yes, I used to actually do that. Go up on a ladder, the whole nine, which was lightweight work. But nonetheless, once you understand that cable degrades and you can only run, your signal starts at a certain point. You can't run on the cable line. You need a booster. So think about this. So here's what's going to happen in the DR is the same thing. You can't get away from it. You're going to need some power. And let me give you guys the situation. If you tell me you need cable, the complex has 50 units because this did come up when we have to do hotels. Do you understand that whatever's in room 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 speed cannot be down there in room 25, right? So unless you figure out a way to up the amperage, up the output, which now means you're going to have to spend some more money, you're going to have exactly what Joe Nay's describing. Because they're going to have to monitor how much is going to certain people. And if you use it more, They're going to throttle you down. How many people know what I'm talking about on their cell phones if you have a limited cell phone plan for 4G or 5G? The same thing's going to happen. They are not equipped because I doubt if they're running on fiber optics. So therefore, they have to boost the signal somehow. You know how many apartments and homes that they have in certain locations? Joe Nay's in a new section, by the way. So again, I can see where they're going to throttle back based on usage. This is not new, but they don't have the infrastructure for efficient lines. They're not running fiber optics, I'm pretty sure. So therefore, they can't squeeze out a longer line. I don't see how that's going to happen. It's easier to put in coax, and I'm pretty sure that's what they probably use. I don't really know, but this is not shocking, and this is sad to hear because I didn't know that because I never ran off of. I ran the Wi-Fi when I did the live streams there, but that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and so I mean basically I'm using like 2 gigs is what's saved, but the running is maybe 30-40 megabytes on the live stream. So it's not breaking any of the, it's not a, it's not, it's the norm. Here it is. I have Starlink. I haven't hooked it up. Starlink is 48 a month. I'll set my Starlink up when my villa is ready. Right. How much was Starlink though? That's the $1 million question. Don't you have to buy the thing? Isn't it? I don't even know how much it is, quite frankly. I've heard different numbers. Got it. Yep. Yep. Got it. Exactly. Thank you, man. I'm just working on getting this investment property up, learning about the electricity and Wi-Fi. I'm not going to allow DR to hustle your boy. Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly right. So if you can get Starlink from there, and if Starlink is reasonable, because $50 a month is not unreasonable, especially what speeds do we have for Starlink? Now, I don't like supporting Elon and his companies, but if you have to, you have to. Unfortunately, right? If there's no other alternative and they're throttling down from 100 megabytes per second, that's weak because live streaming's all over the place. My utility is growing with those ULTY is growing with those investments, reinvestments exactly. $6 per share. Yeah, I like that. Brian P. Hold on, what's that? Oh, okay. I saw something else. Hold on. Okay, you're welcome. Thanks again, man. I greatly appreciate it. Stop struggling now at Cash App if you guys would ever like to donate because we are not monetized. We haven't been monetized for what, 7, 8, 9 months now? Maybe even almost, oh, wait, almost a year now because it's June. That's crazy. They didn't like that I talked about some miracle, all them guys. They didn't like it, man. These guys are just crazy on here. That's why they need IT engineers there. EV Place. That's right. 2 solar panels can feed Starlink setup, and you are off grid. Okay, so who knows how much the Starlink cost? Because I've heard different numbers. Somebody said 1,000. Another person said 600. I've heard like 500, 600, 1,000. So I don't know what that is, but let me know. $50 a month is what high speed is anyhow. And what's the speed, by the way? Well, actually, you're closer to the equator, which actually you're going to have a better signal than if you're in the Northeast or Northwest, I would think. So let me know if somebody knows about this. I've been traveling this globe for 30 years. I can promise that DR isn't the only gym in this world. Exactly. Exactly, Joe Nay. You're exactly right about that, man. You are exactly right about that. But anybody know how much Starlink costs? In fact, you know what? Let me just see. How much? Well, this is America. Okay. How much does it cost to install? I'm pretty sure they don't charge the same amount that they charge Americans. That's a worldwide thing. So if it costs, it says, oh Jesus, 349. to 1,499. Seriously, I don't think it's going to cost no $1,000 in DR or 600 or 700 to get Starlink. That's crazy. Professional installation is 199. Okay, hey, you know what? I just thought about what does the HOA and homeowners think about how are they going to allow you to put up a Starlink, or do these have to be in the ground? And if they have to be in the ground, I don't think HOA is going to allow you to put them in on your first level or on the roof. $50. $50 is only 50 gigabytes of data per month. Uh, that's not a lot. That's not. That's not even. That's not even like 400 gigs or 200 gigs or nothing. $50 per month. They're calling it a backup plan. Has one big downside. Uh oh. Here we go. Here we go. PC Magazine. Let's see what they have to say. There's always a downside with the Tesla, with Musk stuff. Let's see. Uh, 50 gigabytes a month. That's a downside for sure. Wait, maybe there's another plan. Uh-oh. $120 per month. The residential tier only featured a single plan, which supports the standard dish, but Friday user spot. Okay. I don't know how much it is. Uh, I don't know how much it is. Which usually goes for $349, but can cost more if you live in a congested area. Jesus Christ. Seriously? Okay, well, looks like it's all over the map how much these cost. Hey, EV Place, you know those IT engineers? Um, you know they're not getting no 90 something, 100 and some $1,000 a year. So I'm just saying. Um, I've got it. Okay, I've got it $500 2 years ago before I've moved for fiber optic. Yep, exactly. We can't do 50 gigs, man. Our phones do more than 50 gigabytes a month. Come on. No installation costs, do it yourself. Okay. So it is like I don't even know what it is. I've never looked at it. I will bring it with me, 150 megabytes. It can stand on ground, grass, or be mounted on the pole like satellite dish. Right. But here's the thing, if you're in an HOA environment, you just can't come and post up. If you got management, so that means, I don't know what it means. You're going to have to get approval. That's crazy. My Starlink cost $499 in the States, was costing $129 a month. But Starlink is what's up. There is competition, but they are not up to speed, not even close. So 129 a month, that's a lot. You man, seriously? Jeez. So I'm trying to think. 1 gigabyte a month. Oh, 1 gigabyte a month is $45 here in America. Of course, that's here in America. Um, that's internet. 1 gigabyte. This is crazy. 129. That's unheard of pricing, but okay. Um, competition is not up to speed because most people aren't going to be doing satellite. I installed Starlink myself. Joe Nate, do you have Starlink at the place you're at right now? Because you would have to get approval, right? But you're still only at 50 gigabytes per month, and then it throttles back. I would assume that's okay. I mean, at least that's something. If it's only $50 a month, that's better than nothing. And then Well, well then, I don't know what I would have to do with that. Let's see. Let's go see EV Place. I've started 110 a month for Starlink. Then they've dropped to 90 in MA. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. As more people get involved, the prices will drop. Half price in DR. Really? I figured that. Starlink was better than Verizon. Xfinity never had a problem. Wow. Okay. Kind of like those small dishes when they came out. Only if it snowed. Wait, hold on. If it snows, you got a problem, right? Or does Starlink not have a problem when it snows? Well, actually, in the early 2000s, uh, Dish Network, what was the other? Direct TV, they started adding internet onto their dish, I think, or was that a partnership with AT&T? They didn't run it off the dish. I think it ran with AT&T. Can't remember. But yeah, and forget that. It didn't run on their dish, the internet. I think it ran on AT&T cable. Interesting. All right, so Starlink is only good if you're in a home and not in an HOA, is what I'm thinking. Because I don't know where you're supposed to put it. I saw a couple of Starlink things. One I saw where people had on a pole, and it looked like a dish that may be 20 some inches wide. I don't know. I've never seen one. And then I saw people that were on a cruise ship, and they have this little, seemingly like only 18 inches by 12 inches or something. I don't know what that was. Um, yes, some difficulty with snow, but it's self heating. Oh, like that's cool. Hopefully, no snow in DR. No, snow in DR is not going to happen. Cable costs much more. No, no, no. It's only $50. It's $45 for 1 gig speed. Now, let's just face facts. You can't get 1 gig, but that's oh, that's the promotion. It's $50. Actually, it's $45. Quite frankly, for Xfinity and AT&T has similar type deals, but that's if you go for a 1 or 2 year contract, which you should for $45 a month. But it's on. They run it on cable though, so it can't get to 1 gig. So it can only go up to what 300 megabytes per second, 400, which is mostly good for most people. I mean, you don't really need anything higher than that, but I'm just saying. Um, but if you don't have that deal, then they do charge 79, 99. They start getting crazy. Um, so that's cool. Good for penthouse, exactly. Penthouse, terrace, or villa. As long as you don't have HOA, that's the point, right? Because HOA has to have approval. No approval necessary. Jonay, what do you mean no approval necessary? If you live in an HOA, don't you're gonna need approval. Let's go see. Let's go. This is why Ukraine was up in arms because they needed that Starlink to fight the Russians. Exactly. Exactly. And that's why another reason I don't like Elon Musk is because he removed it, knowing full well that that's one of the few ways that they had the internet rolling so they could fight the war where their civilians are getting killed from a person that attacked their country. And he says, "Oh yeah, well, I'm just going to remove it. You're on your own." I'm like, "Hold up, man. What's this? No humanity. People have mass graves, civilian mass graves by the Russians are in Ukraine as we speak. I mean, this is just bad." That's why I said it all rolls down to these guys, man, that make, have all this wealth, and they just, sheesh, man. I don't get it. I don't get it. Starlink will melt the snow. You just got to set it up in the settings. I like that. That's pretty cool. That is one of the things. That's awesome. Actually, I like that. So then there's no worry. There's no worry then. That's pretty cool. Um, but I don't know. Once we go past $50, $60, nah. Like, hold up a second. And by the way, cell phones have hotspots, and your hotspot can do well. It varies. It varies. It can do anywhere from 5 megabytes per second up to 30 megabytes, 40 megabytes per second. It all depends on your service providers. And if you have unlimited, like I do, that's why I was able to do live streams on my hotspot, unbelievably. Um, but then if I have bad Wi Fi or bad mobile signal, which is what happened in Cali, then my hotspot is not effective. Not effective. Not that good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap this up because it's all about the wealth. If you want to build wealth, you need to get into certain things: run businesses, be an entrepreneur, make investments, be in the stock market. And that's part of the investments. Real estate, part of the investments. Make sure you're involved. Make sure you study. Why not learn a little bit? If you want to make more money, you have to learn. You have to study. You have to be proactive. You can't just sit there and allow your 401k to earn 7%. When inflation is anybody. Do you really believe inflation is 2.8% year over year or 2.2%? Let me ask you something. If inflation rises to 25% right now, and then next year they go, inflation is good because it's only 2.8% this year. You do understand that's 27.8%, right? It ain't no 2.8%. So what good is it if I already have to pay 25% more and then you tell me, oh, it's only 2.8%. Well, look at here. Woo-hoo, look how good we're doing. I'm like, I don't understand why people get all excited about the inflation rate when inflation is an ongoing thing every day. They're devaluing our currency. The United States government and governments around the world, they're devaluing their currency. So everything has to cost more. So just because they go, oh yeah, inflation, they can tell me it's 1%. What difference does it make? You already done jacked us for the last 100 years. 2000s, 3000% inflation. So what if it's only 2.8%? How about 0% for about 100 years? But that won't happen. I'm just saying, I'm just going a little crazy right now. But we're at 2 hours. I'm going to go. And I want to thank everybody once again for being here. I appreciate your support. I love you guys very much. But make sure you please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here. And that's the whole point. My cuz, I know it's hard out here, man. But that's the whole point. It's going to get harder because money is what makes the world go round. And unfortunately, if you live in the United States, you're going to need more of it. You cannot survive by going backwards with the dollar. You need it. So you have to set yourself up every day. You should be thinking, how can I get an extra dollar, extra 50 cents, extra 25 cents in here next month that I don't have to work for? Because one day you will not have a job. You will have Social Security. Hopefully you'll have a pension, or hopefully you'll have Social Security too. And then you're still going to need more money because you're not going to be able to survive on that. So keep all that in mind, and you have 1 year, 6 months to go. All right. Oh, speaking of inflation, Walmart raised prices by 20%. I know. I know, man. I know. And so is a whole bunch of other people. They're not going to eat. They're not going to eat the tariffs. Not going to happen. You'd have to be a real lame company or corporations to sit here and say the products are going to cost me 25% more and we're going to eat it. You would have to be so lame to even suggest such a thing. So of course they're gonna, and in fact they're gonna raise them higher than that probably. It's a damn shame, man. I did see someone with the Starlink here at Jardines. They ran the hookup cord going through the AC hole hookups. Okay, so the question is it on the ground floor? The second, where is it? Ground floor, penthouse unit, or second floor or third floor? That's the $1 million question, because if you say it's on ground floor, first or second, HOA approved it, then you know what that means. There's going to be a whole bunch of yards with Starlinks in front. I mean, because this is a condo project, right? There's going to be a whole bunch of yards with them Starlinks in them. And then there's going to be a whole bunch of places that won't have Starlinks because you might not have line of sight to the satellite. So I'm assuming the guy's on the roof, or they have an open space next to them or something, because line of sight's going to matter. Well, we'll find out. Starlink needs a clear view of the sky. Yeah, exactly. Or you're going to have interruptions every 20 or so minutes. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's just like any other satellite. If you don't have clear views and you're trying to shoot through trees and all that, that's not a good plan. You're going to have to need line of sight. Exactly right. But let me know where this Starlink is, because that matters. If they're allowing it on the bottom floor where they're allowing people to do this, all I can tell you is I don't think that's a wise decision. If you have a penthouse unit, okay, it can be on your terrace. I think that's fine. But allowing people on first floor, second floor, third floor to run cables and have Starlink dishes, and I'm not one, again, I've done installations. Somebody would tell me drill into the side of my house. I don't even care if it was brick. I'd be telling them that's not going to happen. If this goes into your house, this is not going to happen. If this goes into some other place, that's not going through the walls in your house, because you're not calling me 3 years from now, 4 years from now, talking about, oh, hey, I got water damage in my house because the seal or whatever went through. I said, nah, I'm not doing. I would turn down jobs. I told you guys before. Anything that put me at liability for leaks by drilling into the side of people's houses, I would not do it. Not going to happen. Sorry. Not going to happen. Since I can run on your coax cable, I'll just run it on an eave, because if the eave leaks, no big deal. But if you want me to do something else, you're going to have to find somebody, hire somebody else. I turned down business on a few occasions because people would not take my advice. They were like, oh, no, I want it drilled into the side here or drilled into the side of the fireplace. Nope, not going to happen. Not going to happen. You get me a 2-inch block of wood that I can attach onto some wood, I might consider it, but there is no way I'm drilling into your side of your fireplace. Not going to happen. The other guy said he would. I'm like, but he won't come out here for a few weeks. I'm like, well, you better wait for him, because I'm not helping you do this. I'll tell you where I can put it, but I'm not doing it. And they're like, well, you don't want to do the business, whatever. No, man, it's liabilities. I don't need to hear from you a year or two from now, because all I can do is silicone. I can put I gave him the idea on how you have to put it in. I said, I'm not the only one. Everybody's going to have to do the same thing. And since water can, just the slightest little imperfection or deterioration, and water starts getting through whenever there's rain or storm and all that, I don't want that in your walls. I don't want none of that. I don't want to have nothing to do with that. You're not calling me up 2 years from now talking about, hey, man, I got leaks in my walls and my ceilings, and no, not going to happen. Nope. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go. I'll see you guys on Friday night. We'll see what's going to happen, but I know a lot of you are going to be happy from doing the salsa dance. Bing, 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 from all the notifications for the dividends on Friday. That's how you build wealth, and that's one of the ways. We have several. But stay tuned on Friday. We're going to have another nice conversation, and we'll have some more information on what's going to happen, because you know the jobs report is not going to be good, right? It shouldn't be good. We've we've fired 100,000 plus employees that work for the government. So, and we fired FAA that does air traffic control, right? We fired people in the national parks, right? So we're two, three, 400,000 people are looking for a job right now, just off of the government. Never mind ordinary citizens, where businesses are closing, stores are closing. I mean, this is bad. And now you're going to have new jobs. What are the new jobs? Are they going to pay 80,000 a year, livable wages? Or are they going to pay $40,000 a year where you're still swimming upstream? All right, protect yourself, ladies and gentlemen. All right. And again, thank you so much for being here tonight. I love you guys, and I'll see you on Friday night at 8:50 p.m. And make sure, no matter what you do out here, no matter the obstacles, no matter what's happening, keep a level head, stay out of trouble. Try not to involve yourself with negativity and people that want to cause a ruckus, because you never know. People are under stress and duress, and some people have nothing to lose. And with all that said, make sure you keep your head up. Keep moving. And I'm out.